guys, Jeff with Kayak Contemplations, coming to you this week with a product review. This particular product review is for Fishing Points. This is an app you can get in the Android marketplace, and I'm fairly certain they have an Apple variant of this as well for those iPhone users. What I want to do is just kind of show you how I use the app. Basically, this is a great app for, number one, finding new lakes to fish on, because you can kind of scroll through the map, find pieces of water, zoom in on those pieces of water, that kind of thing, to kind of get a lay of the land. Secondarily to that, though, it's great for recording some data. And then what I use it for more than anything is planning my trips in advance. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. So when I open the app, there's some data up here, and we'll go through that in a minute. But one of the first things that I always do is I click the menu button, and then I check the fish activity. And this is Solar Lunar data. If you're not into that, that's fine. I know that it works for me. Whether there's anything actually to it or not, I'll leave that up to you to decide individually. I just know what works for me. So I can go and maybe I'm trying to get out this Saturday. Well, Saturday's going to be an epic day for fishing according to the Solar Lunar data. It gives me my major fishing times, which will be from 10:24 a.m. to 12:54 p.m. Perfect time to be out on the water. And then the minor times, 5:43 a.m. to 7:13 a.m. and 4. So this kind of gives me the ability to kind of see what's going on. You can see your major times and your minor times listed as I scroll through the time of day. So that's the first thing that I'll do, right? Second thing that I'll do is from that same menu button, I'm going to go over to the weather, right? And the weather is going to give me some really good information. Now, as a kayak fisherman, one of the things I'm always looking at is the wind. What direction is the wind blowing? How is it changing throughout the day? And what is the speed? A lot of times the wind will change direction as you go through the day. Let's take a look at that Saturday. So looks like we've got a little west to east wind going on in the morning here. Looks like it pretty much continues that way, but you see around 6 p.m., the wind shifts, right? It's coming a little bit more out of the south. So that's something to kind of keep an eye on. I can look at potential for precipitation. I can look at the cloud cover, sunrise, sunset information, barometric pressure information. So it just kind of gives me some really good information. I can scroll down and it gives me, some little, what are the gust speeds and all that kind of mess. And boy, 17-mile-an-hour gust speeds, that's not fun to fish out of in a kayak. But if you got a good anchor trolley system, you can still make it work. All right. So if I back up here and I go back to that menu button, if you're saltwater fisherman, you can check your tide information. If I want to know the exact time, sunrise, sunset, all that kind of information is going on, I can go here. It tells me that we're in a waxing gibbous. If I go to Saturday, we got full moon, and that's part of the reason why it's good fishing. Full moons, for whatever reason, great fishing, great hunting. Love being outdoors on full moons. And so it gives me some really kind of cool data that I can plan my trip with. Now going back to the map, here, I can zoom in on different things, right? Now you'll see this white line. This is actually just I started it and finished where I was actually paddling a particular day. So I kind of wanted to see, well, what's the overall distance and that kind of mess, because it allows me to actually do some measurements on the map. If I just click the measure button, move that down. If I click the measurement button, I can go, well, if I put in here, right? So let me move this here, and I'll say if I put in here and I want to fish all the way over here, well, that's 0.344 miles. That's not bad, so you can kind of get an idea, well, how long is it going to take me to get to a location from where the put in is? So that's kind of some really cool information. You can also record your catches. If you just click on the record catch button, you can give a name, put a picture with it if you want. The fishing location, if you aren't using your GPS, you can add it later or whatever. The length, the weight, time of day, add any kind of notes that you want with it. I'm not going to save anything here. I can go through and I can look at some other data, right? So that was that paddling trip that I was telling you that I marked. so I could look at that information. If I wanted to look at this is notifying me that there's a park in this area. So it'll give you some basic icons that you can look at. I like the fact that I can zoom around and I can really kind of see, well, where, how do I get into this area? Okay, well, I can come there. I can rotate the map if I want, just with 2 fingers. Slide, zoom in using 2 fingers, or I can use the buttons on the left-hand side. I can change my, sorry, I keep getting that in the way. I can change how my compass is going to be. Is it always going to be true north? As soon as I do that, it's always going to show me where north is because I'm rotating the map. But if I want true north again, I just hit that button. It takes me right back to true north. It gives me some GPS coordinates too. So if I'm looking for a particular area, right, I can, when I go into the, move that, when I go into save the current location, here's my GPS coordinates. So if I want to enter this in here and maybe carry it over to my Navionics map later or something, I can do that. If somebody gives me a specific location, I can kind of mark that information as well. Okay. So it's a great little tool. And it has been my go-to. And I have several other fishing apps on my phone. This one, a Navionics app, FishBrain app, which I've got a review that I'll be coming shortly with. To me, this is one of my go-to apps. It's something that I've really enjoyed using, and it really gives me the ability to kind of zoom in on spots. If I'm not used to fishing a particular area, I can kind of see, well, where am I going? The other cool thing that I like about this is with the overlays, right? So I can change to a normal overlay, right? And the good thing about this is now I can really see the roads. So I can see, okay, maybe I want to fish this little creek feeder right here in the center of the screen. I can zoom in and go, okay, well, that's Stemley Road. There is a marina there. Okay, so that's interesting. Now if I want to get a picture and kind of see from a top-down view, what does it look like? What's the marina look like? Is there a grass put in area? And it doesn't appear to be, so I'd have to use the boat ramp there, which I don't like using with my kayak. Though I might be able to put off here in this area. So it gives me kind of that overview of the area, and then I can figure from there, okay, well, where can I fish? How far can I go with this, right? If I really go up the creek area here, it starts to dry out, which is good because a kayak, I can get into the skinny water easily. Maybe be a good place to kind of picnic or whatever on one of these sandbars. So it just kind of gives me a nice little overview of what's going on. Again, we talked about you can log your catches, and I don't think I did any pictures with these. I was just kind of testing the app out. But it shows, hey, even on a low fish activity day, I still caught a fish, right? A little small bass there. Another one here. Again, low fishing day, and I was using a Booyah buzzbait. So it kind of gives you some good historical recording information. Although, to be honest, I find that I don't use it for that. I really just use it for planning my trips, what the weather's going to be, what the conditions are going to be, scope out the lake, measure some distances before I go out there and start paddling around. And I find that it works really good for me. So anyhow, this is Jeff with Kayak Contemplations. Hope you enjoyed this review of the Fishing Points app. And if you're interested in it, you can download it from both Android and the iStore. And then the app costs $9.99 a year, which to me is well worth every penny. So anyhow, there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.